All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, digital challengers. Just getting the tech sorted and going from there. My name is Doyle Buehler. I run a strategic digital marketing consultancy where we are creating real-time, connected, and adaptive digital challenger brands in this disruptive, shifting digital economy. I'm author of the book on digital strategy called Breakthrough, which takes these challenger businesses on their business-changing digital expedition. And I'm your CEO, the Chief Expedition Officer, helping you plan, navigate, and deliver in the digital darkness of online. So I'm super excited to be sharing with you part 4 of these sessions. These are the Digital Expedition micro-learning sessions. And then in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 simple things on how you can build trust with your audience for your business to grow in this shift. And we've often heard the expression, know, like, trust. This is how we grow your business. Trust quotient amidst the global shift on businesses we are now seeing as well. The cool thing, we can be in front of our audience 24/7, yet we're at the point of what I call zero trust, where we need to start from nothing and we need to build upon that from the foundation. And we need to change that immediately or we will go nowhere, as you're literally one click away from your competitors as well. All right, so let's get into it. I'm doing something different. Before I was doing with the iPad, which is a cool little tool. I just want to try something a little bit different and go back to the whiteboard with pens and everything else that's involved with that. So I'm just going to zoom the camera down a bit as well. And let's get started. All right, cool. So now I just to clarify as well, I'm talking about business trust. Okay, there is a difference between business and personal trust, right? Personal trust is who you are. There's obviously some crossovers too, right? But we need to look at this as how are we going to build this foundation of trust as our business? Okay, whether you're using personal branding or whatever the case may be, we need to look at how does trust play in this. And as I said, we're starting with zero trust. Nobody trusts anybody for whatever reason. They're judging, they don't understand what you do, they don't know who you are, they don't understand what problem you serve, whatever the case may be, right? We have to overcome that. And the way to start to overcome that is, you might have heard of it before, but there's the KLT, right? The know. There's 3 factors: know, like, and trust. And these 3 factors are how business really technically gets done. Do we know that person? Do we like them? Can we trust them? Yes, we'll do business with them. The thing that we often forget is that this is a growing space. It's not just it just doesn't happen instantaneously, right? It takes time to be able to build. And Google did an interesting study a while ago called the 0 moment of truth. And that's the point where people can actually decide to make a purchase with you. It takes some time. It takes 7 hours. That takes 11 touch points. And it can take up to 4 channels. So what does that mean? We have to spend 7 hours with that person. We have to have 11 touch points. So whether it's a blog post, a Twitter feed, an image, a video, a PDF, whatever the case may be, we have to build these up over time. And we have to be able to show them on 4 channels as well. And that's the key, right? And if we don't have those, we don't have a business. So how do we build these? How do we get to know you? Well, this is content, right? This is what you're producing. This is what you're saying. This is what you're talking about. This is you helping businesses, right? This is your content. Like, this is being your authentic self. And we often hear about that. Being authentic. People, do they like you? Do they understand you? Do you fit with them? Are you able to convey that message with them as well, authentically, which is super, super key. And then the last one is trust. And there's 3 factors that I'm going to get into: privacy, permission, and personalization. Personalization. All right. So let's get into that. The hard thing about the old-fashioned whiteboards is, I did erase it. And these are some interesting, if you've not seen these are Rocketbook beacons, and you can actually take a photo and then it actually converts it digital. into a digital image as well, with character recognition and everything else as well. Let's just move this over a bit so we got the good coverage. All right, so what do we need to know about digital trust? Digital business trust. As I said, we've got the three things. We have the privacy, we have permission, and we have personalization. Personalization. And then what we can do is, if we look at it from the perspective of what are these factors, great way to do that, the good old Venn diagram, right? They tell a lot of information very quickly and they give you clarity, which is super, super important. So what does this tell us? That we've got this zone in here, right? What is that zone? This is your trust quotient. So this tells you that if you're able to convey the sense of privacy, permission, and personalization, you're going to be able to have a trust quotient. And I'm going to explain that a little bit later coming up. First off, privacy. What is that? Well, that's respecting the privacy of your customer, your audience, right? If they're telling you to do something, they expect you to do it. If they're telling you to hold on and be private about those interactions or their data, right, you need to respect that as well. Permission. You can't send emails unless you have their permission. It doesn't matter where, if you bought this list from somebody who's selling email lists, doesn't matter where it comes from. If you don't have permission, you cannot send people contact information or whatever the case may be. And this is kind of getting out of hand too, because you get pushy sales at this point in time where on LinkedIn, for example, people always want to sell you and send you stuff and that sort of thing. You can't do that. You have to build trust. You have to get their permission. You have to understand that it's part of this process as well. And the last one is personalization. In this case, I'm not talking about, putting your name on a pen. This is Doyle's pen, right? It goes way beyond that. This is one of the more important ones. And this is about the journey, right? Are you able to take the data that your audience is experiencing and creating, where they're going, what are they doing, what behaviors are they showing, all that kind of stuff? Are you then able to create a journey, a story for them that they can follow along? So it's not just some random act, it's actually some journey, it's some expedition, as I'm going to get into as well, that shows people that this is what is actually affecting them personally. So if we can create that level of personalization that didn't exist even 5 years ago, we're able to take our audience on a fascinating story, on a fascinating journey, and away we go as well. But we need to build this trust quotient. So we need to be able to make sure we have privacy, or provide privacy, provide permission. There's too many P's here, as well as create the journey that's personalized as well, which is super, super key. All right. So almost ready to wrap up here. If we take the trust quotient, what we also need to be aware of is that it doesn't happen instantaneously, right? We know that. Trust takes, years to build and moments to lose. So we have to be able to understand that this is going to take some time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantaneously. We need to be able to be aware of that. And this is our trust quotient. That says this is how much people trust us. This is how they're willing to be able to do business with us. And this is 100%. And this is 0%. And we're at 0%, right? This is a huge trend in digital marketing and strategy and online business and that sort of thing, e-commerce, you name it. We don't trust you because we don't know you. We don't know you because we don't like you. We don't like you because we don't trust you, right? So it's one of those vicious cycles where we have to get out of it. We have to start building that trust based on these three concepts again: privacy, permission, personalization. So what do we know? We have to build it over time. It's not going to happen instantaneously. It's going to take some time to be able to build. We also need to know that there's going to be a range of these three Ps that are very, very important, but we need to understand how those fit together. An upper range, and there's going to be a lower range as well that keeps us moving forward. But overall, there's going to be this range where we're able to provide that privacy. We're able to provide that permission to our audience, and we're able to provide personalization. And once we have those, we can then create that journey. We can create that expedition because we have these, because we know these specific elements that are important to this and how we can actually deliver that. All right. We have to be careful if we're getting low into that space. And can you be extra trustworthy? There's absolutely no harm in that as well. Right. But we have to start somewhere. We have to stick within our range based on privacy, permission, and personalization as well. So how does this all fit? It fits by, as I mentioned earlier, we're going on an expedition. And we have the trust journey, right? Which was the graph that I just drew, but we're going on an expedition. So this is a mountain. We want to get up here, right? This is our foundation here that gets us there, that allows us to be able to do this. It's not a quick little hop, right? It's an expedition. A quick little hop, what's that? That's a safari. That's going on listening to a Disney story tale, right? Fairy tale. An expedition is where we are now. This is where the work has to come in. This is where we have to realize that there's places that we need to do specifically to get us here. Otherwise, we're not going to be getting anywhere whatsoever. We can either do something, right? We can do nothing. We can do something, or we can, as I say, do strategic. And the only way up this mountain, the only way to get your business up that mountain today is by creating an expedition. Now, along that way, we're going to have a couple steps. And I've gone through some of these already. These are the micro-learning sessions that we're going through as well. One of these is what I'm talking about today, right? This is your trust quotient. And we need one of these, we need more of these, we need a couple of these, we need, everything. We need to prepare our team. We need to be able to have the resources. We need to know what we don't know, right? We're going on an expedition. And if you go back in history, what does an expedition mean? They plan stuff out. They detail what's needed, what tactics, what strategies, what, information, what people, resources, tools, everything. Then they left. And when you're, in the Antarctica desert or whatever the case may be, right? You need to be fully prepared, right? So that's what we're doing here. This trust quotient, that's one of these steps. What does this really mean? Is that we need to build our foundation. And without a foundation, that we're not going to be able to go on a very good expedition where, from a business perspective, worst case scenario, the business doesn't survive. Best case scenario, we're able to make it there. We're able to get past all of this COVID chaos and that sort of thing. But the three things that we need in our foundation, we need brand value. We need to know what that is and how we are delivering it, right? What is it about us that's memorable, that's remarkable, it creates that certainty, creates the ability to deliver. The second one is we need a digital experience, and not just a website, right? We're talking about creating a remarkable digital experience worth remembering. Websites, those are 2010. If you don't have one now, you're not going on this expedition, but a website's not going to save you either, right? You need a whole list of other assets, a whole list of other equipment that you need to be able to get there. But we need a digital experience, one that's remarkable, one that's worth remembering as well. And the third thing that we need in our foundation, just put this here so it makes sense. Foundation. The third thing that we need is digital delivery. You need to be able to deliver your product or service anytime, any place, anywhere. This is what digital enables you to do. It enables you to have a small business, small residential business, and it allows you to connect with customers and audience from, around the corner, across the city, across the state, across the country, around the world. but you still need the same foundations. Every single business, doesn't matter where they're starting or what they're doing, they all need the foundation. They all need these three critical things that you must do to build your foundation if you want to go from survive to thrive. All right, cool. So just about ready to wrap up. This is the expedition. I do have it. This is leading towards my digital expedition masterclass, which is really a methodology of how to do things, how to build up for that for the expedition as well. So if you want, love you to come join us. bit.ly/ make sure I got this right. It's all lowercase, digital expedition. So it's a masterclass where we're going to be going through all those elements of all the methodologies, all the pieces that you need to help build that expedition, to help build that structure that your business needs going forward. Whether you call it a life raft, whether you call it a ladder, what you need for a two-dimensional solution or a three-dimensional solution or whatever. But that's what we're going to be going through, is how to do this. The specifics you need to build your foundation and the tactics and strategies to be able to get to your place where you want to be. All right, so thanks for watching. Really appreciate your time. If you do have any questions or comments, please write them in the comments. You can get in touch with me as well through my profile on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever the case may be. My name is Doyle Buehler. Everybody stay safe out there. Again, love to get you onto the masterclass methodology. Join me at bit.ly/digital expedition. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day and stay awesome.